great movie called Body of War that focuses on injured Iraq vets. And one of the Iraq vets in that movie, who's in a wheelchair, wants to meet with Bill Kristol to talk to him about the consequences of pushing for an unjust war. So we want a meeting with Bill Kristol to meet with injured Iraq war vets to talk about the consequences of an unjust war. He shouldn't be just sitting in his little academic cubbyhole writing about war this and war that without facing face to face what happens when you go to war, to an unjust war, and you injure tens of thousands and you kill thousands. So, you know, academically he might understand that war kills and injures, but in an unjust war, people get pretty upset, and there's some upset people who want to talk to Bill Kristol.
Hey, Ross, now tell us a little bit about Phil Donahue's movie.
It's a movie that focuses on the injured Iraqi war vet, paralyzed Tomas Young. And he was here for 5 days, took a bullet under the collarbone, and is paralyzed from the waist down. And it looks at his life and what he has to deal with, and it's interspersed with the votes on the Iraq War in the Congress.
And I think you said he's paralyzed.
Right. Well, I don't know what the technical term is, but yeah, waist down. And he's in a wheelchair for life.
You wrote a very moving column that was in Counterpunch the other day about this. And what's the connection to Kristol and the New York Times for the benefit of our audience?
If you go to the website bodyofwar.com, that's the website about the movie. Phil Donahue has an essay, and he says that, you know, for all the pundits like Kristol who pushed us to war, he has a soldier he'd like them to meet. And the soldier is Tomas. And I spoke to Tomas a couple of days ago, and he's willing to meet with Kristol, sit down, and give his experience about what happened and his point of view. Because I think what happens is, for all our lives, if we isolate ourselves from the other point of view, you know, we don't write as informed as we should. And I think that's part of the problem. I think Kristol understands that war leads to death and destruction, but it's important that he see it up front. So we're trying to arrange a meeting with Kristol and Tomas, so he can give his point of view.
So here we are today. We're in front of the New York Times office here in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And Kristol has been assigned to this office?
I don't know if he has an office here, but he's writing a once-a-week column for them starting last week. And our view is the Times got enough war columnists. You know, it's got Brooks, it's got Michael Jordan, he's not a columnist, he's a reporter. It's got Friedman, who's been pushing for war for years. So how about a peace columnist? How about an overtly peace columnist? Now, a lot of the liberals aren't overtly peace columnists. You know, we want someone to go after the military-industrial complex and question this military machine.
Okay, thanks, Russ.
You're welcome.
Now, we know there's a lot of people at the New York Times who disagree with Bill Kristol. We want you to join with us in trying to get a meeting with Bill Kristol for Tomas, who's the star of this movie, Body of War.
Paralyzed veteran.
Paralyzed veteran sitting home in Kansas City, and he's on a whole slew of pharmaceuticals just so he can make it through the day. But he's willing to come to D.C. and meet with this guy who's been pushing for war for years. So we want the people in the New York Times who disagree with Bill Kristol to arrange for this meeting. Let's have a sit-down, a public sit-down. Bill Kristol in his cushy desk and Tomas in his wheelchair.